Right, in this video we're going to be looking at how to make two different types of forums on Moodle. One is called a general forum, which is a bit like a Facebook chat or something like that, where you can pose a question or say something controversial or have a video for students to discuss, and they get to see each other's comments and your replies, whether they've commented or not. The other type we're going to make is called a Q&A or question and answer forum, and this is one that I like to use for revision tasks and to also make the students do their own thinking without seeing each other's work. What happens in a Q&A forum is that students can only see other students' work, other posts, after they have posted something themselves, and they have to wait 5 minutes, so it's not immediate. So they can't just put a couple of spaces, press submit, and because to do that they still have to wait 5 minutes. With that, just for classroom management, I am very explicit with the students and say, I know you could do this. This will be the consequence if you do. Because of course I get to see every one of their posts, because it comes through as a digest email that night. So if I see someone has submitted hi or a smiley face, then I'll give them a consequence. Alright, because it's like cheating in a game. It's not what we want to do. So I'm going to show you Q&A first because it's actually something I want to do with my Year 11 class today. So in my top section, I'm going to put my exam revision things. Alright. So in this, I'm actually going to put a new forum. I'm going to put a revision forum. So I'm going to add an activity or resource, and I'm going to click on forum. Add. Now the name of this forum is going to be exam revision. And in this case, I actually want students to, in this example, to give me their submission, and then the model answer is going to come up 5 minutes later. So I don't want them to see the model answer yet, so it has to be a question and answer forum. So I use this little drop down menu here and choose Q&A forum. Its default is standard for general use, but I need Q&A for what I'm planning to do. Now I could do what I'm about to show you as an assignment, but that would mean me looking at every single one and marking every single one. That's not my intent here. My intent is for the students to put one out there. If there's anything glaringly wrong or anything that's fantastic, I will reply with a comment, but I don't want to reply and mark every single one of them. I want them to look at the way that each other write and gain things from each other. In assignments, you can't see what other students do, but in a forum, you get to see other students' work, so you can actually take ideas from each of them. And I can praise the really good phrases so that students can see, hey, that would be really good in an assessment. Now, I could start typing my question in here. Sorry, this is only setting up this is exam revision. So this is just setting up. So I'm not going to type in my question here. Okay, what I'm going to say is what this forum is all about. So in this forum, there will be, NCA style questions for you to attempt. After you have submitted your answer, a model answer will appear, and you will also see other students' submissions. Alright, so just a bit of this is how this forum is going to run. So I don't have to tell them over and over in class. It's there once. If I wanted to, I could display those words on that. Alright, I'm not going to. I'm going to leave it there. Now, one of the things that I like to do, because this is a revision task, I want them all to know when I put a new question up. So I'm going to change this from optional subscription to forced. They can't even get out of it. They will get an email every time I post a new question.
Oh, cool.
So they know.
They can't say they didn't know.
Correct. And that email has a hyperlink to it as well. Right. So I force subscription. I'm going to forget about everything else apart from this. Maximum attachment size. A lot of students are going to want to do this on as a Word file and then submit it as a file. So I'm going to allow slightly bigger ones in case they're putting pictures in it. So I'm going to allow it to be a bit bigger, so let's say 2 meg in case I want to put pictures. Alright. Doesn't matter how many attachments. You
So
can.
just a total aside, I've got my GATE group looking up other people's experiments and various things for junior physicist thing. So can they embed a video?
Yes, they
link in
can.
there? Yeah, cool.
Okay, so
Just
if you
to give another way to use it, you see, that was all.
definitely, and students can also post questions in this, by the way.
Yeah.
They
Cool.
can start a forum thread as well, not just you. So they could actually put in a question they're struggling with, and then I might put the model answer in directly underneath it, and then as
Other
people
can add
submit,
stuff and ask other questions and
spot
cool.
on.
Cool.
I can grade it if I really want to. Now it's not set up. Sorry, ratings. I can grade it. Okay. Now if I was to do that, it doesn't matter which one I choose here because of the way I've got it set up. I could actually do it in NCEA if I wanted to. Now look, I'm not going to do that. I don't like having ratings in a forum, but sometimes it is worthwhile. I'm not going to have when it can be rated or anything like that. I'm not going to worry about group settings. I'm not going to worry about restricting its access. So I'm now ready. I'm going to save and display because I've now set up my forum. The next thing is to ask a question. Look, I could if I wanted. I could restrict the access here. See this section here, restrict access. I could have it open from today for maybe a week. I don't want that because I want the students to be able to see this up until their NCEA science exam. I want them to be able to go back to it whenever they want.
Yeah. So they can just flick backwards and forwards to various forums if you leave that on.
Yes.
Cool.
Okay, so I'm going to save and display because now I'm going to ask my first question. Okay, so it's got this button here, add a new question. So first of all, I'm going to proofread what I've written there, make sure it's not too ambiguous. I'm pretty happy with that. So I'll add a new question. Now, I have decided that I want to ask a question from an old NCEA exam. So I've got this question here in a different tab. So I've already... Yep. There's two ways I could post that. I could highlight the words. Right. Right. There's a trap around this, and I hope that I'm not being naughty with saying this on a video that'll be on YouTube, but there's a way around that. If you can't highlight, copy, and paste, then most laptops have got a thing called a snipping tool, which I've got down here, but you can find it by searching snipping tool in here. If I click on that, I can now, because I don't want it to say question 3, I just want this. So I'm going to highlight that. I'm going to save it in my pictures as it's a genetics question, so I'll just call it genetics question 1 because it's the first one I'm going to do. And now that's saved as a picture. So I go back here. I'm going to say genetics question 1 because this is what this is going to be. Or I could say it's about mitosis and meiosis, so I could say that. Yeah. So rather than copying the text in there, I'm going to insert edit image. So I'm going to insert my image, find and upload, and under G, there we are, genetics question 1. I'm going to upload. Now, appearance, I don't like things to be any wider than 600. That's actually worked pretty well, just because it fits nicely on a page when it opens. Also found on the mobile version with all the stuff we've got for the setup of our school, Moodle, 600 seems to fit nicely on a screen for the app on the cell phone. So I'm going to insert that, and now that NCEA question is there. If I wanted to, I could have said something like open the attachment below, etc., and I could have actually attached the photo instead in here by just dragging it and dropping it into there. I'd rather they saw the text.
Yep.
So I'm now going to post to forum. Okay. Then, this I think is the key thing if you're doing question and answer. You've got to get in before the students with the model answer. So I open it, and I'm going to reply to this. And I'm going to reply.
Yours is a reply.
Yes.
Okay.
So the model answer they get to see is just a reply. Now, again, I'm going to be a bit cheeky with this. I'm going to cut and paste this one in there. Okay, so I'm going to snip this so they get complete feedback for it. Again, File, Save As. I'm going to call it Genetics Question 1 Answer. Okay. And again, I'm going to use the same process. I'm going to insert an image, find it. Right, the snipping, if you type in here, snip, and just click on that. Yep, so this is your search section, and then just type in snipping tool. One of them. So really handy to use. Okay, here's my genetics question 1 answer, upload. Now I'm not going to change the size of this one simply because the text is quite small. Okay, so if I went to appearance, and it's huge, but they can download it if they want. Okay, so if I insert that, okay, they can now scroll across, because there's the actual answer, and then they can scroll across to see, did I get achieved, merit, or excellence? So they can self-assess that. All right. As I say, the alternate would be to put it in here as a file, so it's not explicitly shown in the forum, and they just are told, check your answer against the file below. They can download the file. Yeah, I'll show you exactly how to do that actually. Whoops. Well, I've saved it in my pictures, so if I open my pictures, I could just grab that answer and drag it into there. And there it is. Okay? So actually, I'm going to get rid of that, and I'm going to say, compare your answer to the marking scheme provided in the file below, and post that to the forum. Okay, so now, actually that's really cool. I didn't know it did this with photos. It's opened it automatically, but it also has the ability for them to, if they do open it, I'm pretty sure they can actually download it. Okay, so I might actually edit this. Now that I know what it looks like, I'm going to edit my post and just make it say that. Compare your answer to the marking schedule below.
So if you're me and you misspell or something, you can go back and pay.
Yeah, I always misspell on these because I'm making them too quickly usually. Okay, so that's how I can make a Q&A forum. Every student has now got 2 emails. One saying that I've made a new post, and one saying that I've also posted in that. So they've actually got 2 emails, so they know that there's 2 things to look at in there. But they're going to be confused initially because they're only going to see one until they've posted.
I didn't realise I could use my form in that way, so I can actually get them to make a paragraph about sustainability and then have a model answer written, and they can decide whether they've covered it. Yeah, I like it.
Can they go back and make changes to the answer?
Yes, they can.
They do that through making another post?
No, they can just edit the one they've got. I get an email. I've got it set up so that I get one digest email every night, so I can flick through and see who's done things. But also on my home page, if I go to my home, it'll come up down here that there are new forum posts. So I just click on that, like I click on here, and I've got all of these assignments that I can have a look at because there's some things to mark. Makes me look terrible, doesn't it? But it also has the ones for the forums, and that's just the little, it looks like a little piece of paper with some writing on it, and it says there are new forum posts.
Oh, okay.
Which is quite handy. Right, so that's the first type of forum, Q&A, which I find really, really good for that revision where you want everyone to attend. Now, the second type, which is I think equally as good for different reasons, is let's say I want to have a forum where I want the class to create a model answer together, or to have an open discussion where they can actually build on each other's ideas, not just They don't all have to have an opinion to start with, but they can start just having an actual discussion. That is, so I'm going to make a new forum this time. This one I might actually delete, but so we're going to go to a forum again and add. Now for this one, I'm actually going to type in exam. This one I'm going to call exam help. Actually, let's go for revision help. Okay. Now my intent for this one is for students who are struggling with something in their revision to ask a question. And then I or their peers or all of us will start giving some suggestions, some ideas. Now to be honest, with this one, I'm not going to comment often because otherwise they'll see that as an easy out. Oh, Mr. Nick will give us the answer if we wait long enough. I don't want that. Yes, now I will correct misinformation, but I'm not actually going to give them the answer to what they say on the forum. I might verbally in class or go through it with them in class, but not on the forum because I see that as them having an easy option. I want them to sweat a bit. Okay, they've got to earn the answer. So in this, I'm going to say something like this. Okay, something like that. Are you struggling with a key concept? Have you encountered a question you cannot solve? Okay, post your question to this forum, help each other out with their problems. But I'm also going to put in here, whoops, sorry, hit the wrong button there. Control B, there we go, caps lock. Okay. Something like this, saying that I'm not going to give the model answer, you need to collaborate to find the answer. He will, however, correct misinformation. Okay? So I've said Mr. Nick will not give the model answer solution here. You need to collaborate to find the answer. He will, however, correct misinformation. Okay? So I'm making a promise that I will keep an eye on it, but I'm actually saying, look, this is not for me to give you the answer. This is not the deal. Okay? Now, to be fair, this is an extension class, so that's why I set that very high bar with them.
Yep.
Okay? So, again, just to remind you, I've gone for standard forums so they can see everything straight away, whether they've posted or not. I'm again going to force their subscription because I want them to know what questions their peers are asking. If they don't know, they won't help. Some of them are going to find files. Sorry. Yes, they'll get that email. They'll get that as well. Yep, correct. Again, I'm going to up this to a couple of meg, just so they, yep, correct. Yep. They might find a model answer and go and post it as an image, and that might be 1.5 meg. So I've just got to up that a bit. There's no damage in going all the way to 15. Again, not going to worry about anything below this. I don't want it graded or anything like that. So now I'm going to save, and again I'm going to display just to make sure it looks okay and to proofread it. For some reason I have a mental block with proofreading in these sorts of screens, but when it comes up like this, I'm much happier with my proofreading. And I'm fine. So I'm not going to add a new discussion topic, but I am going to show them this forum next period on the data projector. Show them that it's there. Yep. So look.
Talk about how they can use it and your expectations.
Correct. So I'm going to show them this on the data projector and say, look, I've just set up 2 forums. I'm going to be setting a new question and exam revision every night with a model answer for those who attempt it. And if you're struggling with anything in revision, this is how you get help from me. So you might think of it at 9:30 at night before you go to bed. Chuck the question on there, we'll have a look at it in the next 24, 48 hours.
Now, how do I know that if I put something in there, you know, practice writing paragraphs, and we talk about whatever I do, I don't know what I do. How do I know that it just comes up automatically? Can I go to participants to find out?
Okay,
who's
not
contributed?
required. If this is actually not a good class to do this with, I'll try and find one that's got a better discussion forum. I haven't used discussion forums with this class much at all. Actually, I have got one though, so let's see.
Yeah, I could have a discussion.
Find discussion forums work best. We have a lot of things that we write alone in senior college. Junior classes should do paragraphs and things, but yeah, it's a lot of the things we write are quite lengthy. If you did a plan and you did one paragraph, I suppose.
For something like English, I'd have video, poem, passage, whatever, pasted in there, and then guide them to have a discussion about, I don't know, the types of language, or the, you know, like how the character's been developed, or that sort of thing.
So unfamiliar text,
Yeah.
assessments, literature assessments.
But also things like Life of Pi, to have a discussion about what was symbolic and what was literal and that sort of thing. You could allow that discussion to grow, and issues that I see it having real power in the social sciences, because you've got issues, you've got contentious things that you can actually get really good debates going, and then you just have to set your ground rules about making statements about facts, not about individuals and stuff like that, and it's really good. Hey, look, so what I've done in this one is I've posted a video about a magic trick. We were learning about pressure, and it's I'll quickly show you, because I can play it in situ.
This is an 8,000-gallon fuel tanker. It weighs 7 tons. Tonight, what we're going to do together is something pretty special. Does anyone here know what telekinesis is?
Kind of pause about ahead of this. What happens is about this point here, I believe, something starts happening.
All right, just stop for a second. All look at me just for a second. We're going to try this one more time. I know it seems weird, I know it seems odd, but all I want you to do is just focus on the X. With all 6 of you together, I just want you to think 1, 2, 3, bend, all at once. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Just keep focusing for me. Oh, wow.
Okay, I don't know if you can see it's actually starting to crush itself. Alright, anyway, so my challenge to my class, here we go, I was about to actually do it. There we go, crushes in completely. Right, so my challenge to my class was to discuss how they thought it happened. And so they started building and I mean, you know, you get that very loose answer. We were learning about pressure, so it was a pretty easy answer. Of course it had something to do with pressure. But then we start getting more and more depth in the answers, and contributions starting to come in. Now, this was a Q&A forum, so that's why you get a lot of answers that are the same. And then you started to get that second and third comment. So you don't need to use a participation report, you can just watch it.